That's it, right? This is going to be a long, long week because the Browns were one decent drive defensively away from not only winning a game at home, but doing it with a third-string quarterback without over half your starters on offense and defense combined, and yet the factory of sadness continues. At the end of the day, two big takeaways I want to get on before we even start really getting too deep in the show. One, Myles Garrett was MIA for way too long. Needed him to step up at the end. I get it. He got hurt, left the game or left the play for a little bit, came back in, but clearly was playing through some pain. But still, you needed Myles Garrett because this team was without so many key players. And then the other thing, you don't get the run game going until midway through the third quarter. You've got two Pro Bowl offensive linemen in there and Nick Chubb, and somehow this Raiders defense that it's not impressive, right? There's nothing to write home about. You don't send a postcard when you beat the Raiders to your mom, but they found a way to stuff this Browns run game because they were with Nick Mullens. So I want to take a quick shout out here to Nick Mullens. This guy right now should not be paying for any beers in Cleveland for the rest of his stay because he went in there and he did everything that was asked of him. If DPJ makes a great catch, not even a great catch, makes a standard catch in the first quarter, that's 3 points for the Browns. Gets them in the field goal range, and you got to believe that McLaughlin won't miss that kick, even though he missed the one right before the half. So that's 3 points missed out right there. And then just other little drops and miscues. Njoku couldn't really come up. He had a good game, but Njoku couldn't come up with some nice kind of 50-50 balls down in the middle of the field. Demetric Felton just, bad drops to Ernest Johnson. Mullens, shout out to you, man. Cheers to you, because you came in off the practice squad and lit it up for what everyone thought you could do. So, cheers to you, buddy. Grade the Browns' Week 15 performance. A, B, C, D, or F. You can go a variety of directions. Can't be an A. There's just no way. There's the A, it shouldn't even be on the screen. We'll start at B, honestly. Personally, I'll give them a C-. Actually, I'll be nice. C for average because, sure, you were down a handful of players on offense and defense, but it's the NFL. It is next man up. And even when you have to go three deep sometimes, there has to be higher expectations, especially because your team was put in a position to win. You went up late, and the defense needed to make a stop, and the defense had Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, your number one pass rusher and your number one corner. The two of them should have combined to make a stop. They couldn't get it done. I'll make that the pinned comment, by the way, so scroll on down, reply. Let's get into the offensive side of things here. 236 total yards, 147 through the air, just 89 on the ground. You knew you needed a better day from Nick Chubb, and he could not get it done. Look at the stats here. Now, granted, yeah, Nick Chubb, he had a nice touchdown run. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on him too much, but it was just too little too late, right? You look back at this game, and sure, he was rocking and rolling down the stretch there. Him, and also, I liked Joel Petonio over at left tackle. That was a fun one-game experience. Once you get Jedrick Wills back, you put everyone back at their spots, but still, Chubb had some good runs in the second half and the fourth quarter, no doubt about it. But you needed a whole game. You needed 130 yards and 2 touchdown Nick Chubb game, and you couldn't quite get it. Harrison Bryant, this was a game where the tight ends were deep, tight ends were thin. You wish they were because you didn't have Austin Hooper, and Harrison Bryant comes up clutch with what could have been / should have been the game-winning touchdown. And so for that reason, you get built into the show, Harrison. So shout out to you. The other 3 receivers on today's show, I don't know if they can get the same amount of love. DPJ, down the stretch, is the DPJ that we all remember from being the training camp MVP and taking the next step when OBJ left. That next step had to be the reception in the first half. Get your team in field goal range, get some momentum offensively with Nick Mullens at quarterback, and you can't get it done. Higgins, who was MIA for a couple weeks coming in today, had some flashes here and there. And yeah, you're working with a third-string quarterback. You can't expect them all to ball out. But those 3 guys needed to have big days because you were without Landry and without Hooper, and you could not find a way to really push the ball down the field and help out your quarterback in key situations. So what's your one-word reaction to this loss? I'll actually make this the pinned comment. Scroll on down, reply for me, let me know what it is. I'll give you my reaction in just a moment. So if a YouTube ad break comes by and hits you, just scroll on down for half a second, put a word, put a paragraph. I don't really care because we're all sad right now. It's the factory of sadness. Mine is heartbreak. This was a playoff game for a handful of reasons. You are playing a Raiders team that, if you lost, would have the tiebreaker over you, so it would feel like 2 losses. And the second thing is, it's Cleveland. I mean, how many times do we have to repeat history? I didn't want to say I felt this one coming. I really thought, I honestly did, I was sitting in my chair thinking, they're going to pull this out. This defense, Myles Garrett, is going to come up, make a stop, record a big sack. They've got no timeouts. They need to be pretty much perfect here. Denzel Ward can not allow a big pass, and at the end of the day, the Raiders found a way to drive down the field, and the Raider fan base is probably very upset. I mean, Mitchell Renz, who, by the way, shout out to the Raiders Report here at Chat Sports, just got over 100,000 subscribers. And speaking of subscribing, how about you join us here at the Browns Report? If you're a diehard Browns fan, you're in the right place. We don't just put videos out when the wins come around and when we're happy and right before the draft or free agency. We're around the clock here, 24/7, 365 days every single year. That's how it works. So make sure you subscribe, hit that big red button, join the channel. If you've already subscribed, we appreciate you being a part of what I believe and what my mom tells me is the best Cleveland Browns YouTube channel out on the World Wide Web. Defensively for the Browns, I wouldn't say they got worked. I mean, you let up 16 points, but the Raiders definitely were able to move the ball down the field in the first half. Sometimes the Browns came with some good stops here and there, and they forced 2 turnovers. So the defense absolutely did its part, but at the end of the day, you also have to play complementary football. You know you're going with Nick Mullens and a third-string quarterback, so you know that means it requires more, which means you need more than 2 sacks. You need a 3rd sack on the final drive, preferably one for Myles Garrett, who was pretty much boxed out of this entire game. I understand Garrett got kind of banged up, tweaked. It looks like his leg, hamstring, quad. I'm not really sure exactly, but it wasn't so serious he couldn't come back into the game. So for Garrett, you needed to have what has been an MVP caliber level year from him, and he couldn't do it against a Raiders offensive line that, aside from Colton Miller, is pretty much Swiss cheese. I mean, they're nothing really all that great, and this defense. Now, unfortunately, Tack McKinley did go down, and that was tough because you were already without Clowney, so then you lost defensive end 2 and 3. So hopefully McKinley's okay. It did look serious. He got carted off. We'll talk about the defense more in length in just a second, but look at this awesome deal going on. We've got a Dope Browns beanie, 25% off. It's $22.50 at chatsports.com/Browns beanie. Here, I know you can't get it by Christmas. It is too late. I told you not to procrastinate. But if you're like me and you have, here's the old switcheroo. You blame it on FedEx. You blame it on UPS. You just say, I ordered it like 2 weeks ago. I don't know why it didn't come. You just put it off on the, blame it off, and then it's like a late Christmas present or something. So get it today, right now. Get this awesome Browns beanie because it was cold out there at First Energy. So don't be too cold next time. Rock this beanie next time you're going to a Browns game. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK, he's so fun to watch. He really is. Comes up with a huge forced fumble. Him and Sheldon Day combine, and I thought it was funny. It was JOK, Sheldon Day, and Porter Gustin. Is this August? Is this training camp? Is this preseason? I mean, those are 2 names that you haven't heard in a while. And then JOK, who's been having a great rookie year. If he didn't get banged up and missed like a quarter of the season with that knee injury, I don't think he'd be in Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. Micah Parsons has kind of run away with that. But he'd be someone, and he still is, very excited for the future because the Browns, they have not had a true linebacker that's been a cornerstone in quite some time. We'll wrap up the video by talking about the AFC North standings here. We'll look at the playoff picture, see where the Browns are, if they can still find a way to sneak in. The Bengals, after pulling out a win in Denver this past Sunday, shot up to the top. Ravens have lost 3 in a row, so we got that going for us. The Steelers came back on the Titans, so a lot of things worked against the Browns this past Sunday. Cleveland 7-7 has fallen to the cellar. If the Browns won, by the way, they'd be in first. That's how close this division is. But one look here at the AFC playoff picture after 15 weeks almost. We got some Tuesday night and the rest of Monday Night Football, but that's NFC matchups in the books there. And there are the Browns, 7-7, a long way to go. They've got to win out, plain and simple. There's no other way around it. Need to win the next 3 games, 10-7. Should get you in, and you need probably a little help because you lose to the Raiders, which means you lost a tiebreaker, and that's a loss in the AFC, which is another way to break up ties in the end of the year for the wild card. But let me ask the question to you. Will the Browns make the playoffs? Y for yes or N for no? Let me know what you think. Are you still all in on this team? I'll give you my 2 cents in just a second, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. I said it. Browns need to win out. 10-7 should get you in. But 10 wins does not always guarantee you a playoff appearance. So you can't quite bank on it. You need probably a little help in terms of tiebreakers, which Cleveland doesn't have against the Chiefs, against the Patriots, against the Chargers, against the Raiders now. You're going to need some help in that department. But Browns, they got to win out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We're always talking Browns news and rumors around the clock here. And here's the deal. Subscribe, and if you see a video you don't like, then you don't have to watch it. If the headline doesn't jump out to you, if you're not interested, no biggie. But at least give yourself the chance to watch the video by having it come across your eyeballs. So subscribe today. Join us here at the Cleveland Browns Report. We'll see you later. Hopefully, my liver's a little better, and we're not drinking as much, and the factory of sadness is not so sad.